Michael Kalla says, how can the games be non-stop 3 regs? Someone must be losing, no? It is possible because of the extra rake back that everybody could kind of be winning. It's possible. It's not always the case, but it's possible. There is something like 22,000. I sound a bit like I'm working for Party Poker. 22,000 a day in the leaderboards. How much is it? So, I mean, obviously bluff. What are we trying to target? We could try and target a 2. I think half pot is fine. It doesn't fold a 9, doesn't fold a king, doesn't fold a 5, doesn't fold a flush. So I think half pot's going to be absolutely fine here. We could jam, but we don't have a spade. I'd rather have a spade to jam, and so we're just going to rep that we could have a 5, we could have a 9, we could have a king. We'd probably want to bet all of those, and we hope he folds a 2, or we hope he folds. I mean, you could have a 6, 7, 7, 8, 7, 4, whatever, like loads and loads of hands to fold. He's got a 9, fine, we don't worry. So in terms of the total buy-ins, total leaderboards, 25, 3, 3, 5, 4, 4, 2, 4, 9, 50 at the top end every day. So like 5k, let's call it. So 5k a day in leaderboards, which means that's getting distributed. And so each of the regs are going to be somewhere in, have to rake somewhere around that, or more or less, and that will be it. Michael Kalla, you get over 100% rake back? No. You can get pretty good rake back though, and so different guys. I mean, every reg you'll see will have a slightly different rake back for the day. I assume everybody here is Diamond Club Elite, so they're all probably making 65%, and then they'll all make different percentages in the leaderboards. Slavey and 300 are typically going for absolute top end in terms of how much they're grinding. They're grinding like absolute machines, so I think they both played probably in excess of. I would love to be able to see what the numbers were. Not a great run up for us. So like, what are the bluffs available? Yeah, I mean, can anyone think of a bluff there? I mean, turning a 5 into a bluff might be something, but like other than that, I mean, yeah, Queen 10 gets there, 9 10 9 Queen. I don't think turn into a bluff, and then Jack X King X all still there, 2 pair still there. I don't think it makes sense to do anything but fold. I will say for every reg that's battling, especially it's quite a slim field of, let's say, the high stakes regs, but like make sure you do look after yourself a little bit, because I think it's very easy to get into that competitive mindset where you're like, I take no prisoners, I'm only going to jam, this is all I do. And I think it's important to just sometimes realize, like, take a day off when necessary. Otherwise we all will develop unhealthy strategies. It's also like, if the regs work together, we'd all have, you know, if it was like it's like a prisoner's dilemma, we could all, I mean, I assume they'd stop running the leaderboards, but like, if every reg stopped battling, if every reg took like a little less battling and took some, make sure you, I'm not going to go, we won a game, let's just focus on that. Michael says, in Spain we get 42% for Diamond Club Elite. How much do you get? We get more, I'm afraid. 60%, plus you can typically get a bit more depending if you have a affiliate deal. So 65, and then you can typically get whatever. Sinead says, if you had to start playing low stakes, $5 to $10, what would be the main differences in your playstyle? If there are any between high stakes, can you point out some? There would be lots of differences. I would be a lot more unbalanced with all of my hands. So I would do a lot of, there's not like one trick to do, but you'd be a lot more free to explore options. So let's say here, for example, like, I don't want to do a 2 if I want to bet the turn or not. I'm thinking like, what would I do in comparison with other hands? If I'm playing low stakes, it's just, I will bet whatever. Now, we do have some value here, so I will actually, and we do have some bluffs. So I'm going to go for a bet, which is a bet of 35. I think this is reasonable. We take an ace, we take an 8. We don't mind folding out some overs. We also don't mind folding out whatever. Could check sometimes as well, but if I'm playing a lower stake, I'd maybe be less conscious about maybe like a check raise or something from an opponent, and then might go bigger in that case. We'll shove the king jack. I would shove it at low stake as well. Mine's massive, and it ain't made a mold. And then Gareth's just laughing, isn't he? Hey, we hit a king. That's what we like to see, ladies and gentlemen. Hitting a king in your Bach. Hitting a queen on the flop. Hitting a 9. Ah, so close. Hitting a 10. No. Would you like 70-38? Pick a language. I'm going to do a bit of bullshitting in that language, basically. That's my... I'm not good at languages, but I'm good at people thinking I'm good at languages. If that makes sense. Galactic's in the house. How are we doing, Galactic? Off to a lovely, tranquil weekend with some grilling, some meat, lots of good stuff. So, limp bet on an ace-4-6. Okay. So, limping range is definitely some ace-x in the limping range. Definitely not folding with our straight draw. We could have 5-7 here. I wonder about sometimes would be if we were deeper. I think, I mean, obviously just checking here now and hoping that we win. And we beat, let's say, a hand like King 3, Jack 3. Very snappy jam from 11. So I don't think there was too much. What's the sort of snap jam at this stack dev? These are close because there's a lot of asymmetric stack depth stuff. I guess we'll go for it. Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, the small blind, the big blind shouldn't be folding too much there, and so you have to be a little bit more cautious with like some of your more marginal shoves. And so there's definitely some asymmetric stacked up effects which make ace-7 off pretty close. The wider the button shoves, obviously, the better ace-7 becomes. But yeah. Oh yeah, let me sing my French song, okay? Bonjour, je m'appelle Tomo, monsieur la vétérinaire. Quel problème? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? C'est mon poisson, il ne dort pas. Oh là là, il ne dort pas. C'est mon poisson. As an example. Or, bonsoir, let me try and make it poker. Bonsoir, je m'appelle Tomo, je suis la poker professeur. Quel problème? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a? C'est mon donking, il ne vient pas. Oh là là, il ne vient pas? Oui, oui, c'est mon donking, il ne vient pas. Quel horaire? Brilliant, brilliant, isn't it? Everyone understood that, and that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I will be welcomed with open arms once I make it to the Ardèche. Eddie says, how do we join this Team 651 stable? I saw the page. Oh, the page is down. Is it? Is the page down? That's a problem. Weekend should be great. Lots of grilling steak and seafood. Can't wait to get away again. I'm running so bad. Nothing's working out for me in any way, shape or form. It's been like this for about 2 months now and it's starting to get to me. I'm sorry to hear that, Galactic. I think we all have our own... It happens to everyone, firstly. It happens to me all the time. Many times historically, I've thought, I just don't know how to play this game. And it just does, nothing works. And I just think I have to quit poker. I don't know what to do. And luckily, every time that's not been the case. And so I would encourage you to take confidence in that not being the case for you too as well. And then it's about taking the time off is normally a pretty good idea. Like resetting that relationship with your poker can be a good thing, I think, because right now probably after an extended run bad, you just your batteries are empty, right? Your batteries of charging your rational brain, and you have your reserves of logic and your reserves of, well, I know that opponents are going to hit their 2 outers, whatever. Let's take the, you might have missed it, but like, let's take the Queen 9 against aces, right? That was like, oh, he's got aces or kings or something. And so, yeah, if I was running worse, I would be a lot more frustrated about that, because it feels very unfair where you're like, oh, he had 2 outs and hit them, and then you lose all of your EV. And so those are very frustrating. And typically we're pretty good as poker players to, like, if EV's good, we're like, oh, happy days, and we can, it feels like, well, that's fair. And it's when EV goes bad. And of course, EV is unbelievably fluctuates as well, like ridiculous amounts. But just because, so I would say EV swings a lot, but there's also a lot you can do to improve your win rate. A lot you can do. And so if you ever find yourself failing to be focused on some of the ways that you can be capturing more EV in your games, because of some emotional states, either from poker or outside of poker, that's a good time to then, okay, reset, let's figure out what's going on. This mental game ramble of the day, sponsored by Galactic. Thanks very much. Mental game, yeah? Talking about that being mental.
That's mental. Come off it. You